Greetings and salutations. I'm out here post spring Death Valley trip 2022, putting the seats back in the Jeep and getting things cleared out and assessing some of the damage. And one of the things I need to address rather rapidly, because it's warming up here in South Texas already, is the air conditioning. So if you see a little eye up there, that'll bring you to the first part of that trip. And you can watch that whole series if you're so inclined. I'd appreciate it if you would. Shortly after I got into Saline Valley, I kept hearing this ding, ding, ding noise, usually when I was backing up. And then I forget where I was at, but I was at some obscure cabins that I didn't know anything about. And I got out of the truck and I heard this little hissing noise. And then upon further investigation, I found out one of my hard lines had been nicked by the mechanical fan and put a hole in it. Well, I bought the new part, so I'm going to replace that. But before I, throw $30, because that's about what that piece of aluminum line cost, was 30 bucks. Wasn't a lot of money, but it was 30 bucks. Before I put that on there, I want to find out, investigate a little bit and find out why it happened in the first place. And look what I found. Get down here, let me move some stuff out of the way, maybe you can see it. There's the motor mount. See that big old crack in there? That motor mount's dicked. I did check the other one when I had the intake manifold off of it to repair the exhaust manifold, and that one seemed to be okay. What that means is that I'm going to have to either replace that with a factory motor mount, or more than likely I'm going to look into going to aftermarket ones with the press-in bushings, the ones that are like the suspension bushings. Those seem to be better suited for this kind of environment. That ain't no good. So let me check the transmission mount and make sure I put the bolt back in it. Yeah, I guess I did. Seems like I did. Got a little bit of a transmission leak going here. I'll have to look into that too. My exhaust system seems to be faring pretty well. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to disconnect these AC lines, because they have an unusual connecting system. Alright, I have these little goofy connectors here. Just grab the locking thing, and pull that off. Fuck yeah. Let's see that shit. It comes right off like that. Now, it's important to note, don't do this when your system's under pressure. Remember, my fan knocked a hole in the line, so there's no pressure in this anymore. And that should just come right out, except that's the wrong one. That's okay, I get it out of the way. I've got a lot more room because I put this hose on the other side of this one. This was on the other side over there. Probably should look into replacing these heater hoses too. So I replaced the upper and lower radiator hoses. I think I'm gonna go ahead and see about ordering up some motor mounts, or yeah, some motor mounts. We'll see where we're at in a couple hours. Good morning. Well, it's been a few days. I ordered some motor mounts. They'll be here this afternoon, supposedly. But I need to get that thing back on the road because, well, I need to go to the junkyard for some upgrades. So I bought these battery terminal ends. I bought brass ones. Lead sucks. Well, let me show you. I apologize for the wind noise. It's windy today, and it's a beautiful overcast day in South Texas. So as you can see, the factory negative cable is starting to pull out of the thing. This one is yeah, that one's not great. I'm just gonna replace my hose. I've got a piece of rubber hose to keep it from chafing. The front tire has a leak in it now. You know, I had one in the back, but I plugged that one. Anyway, I'm gonna replace those battery terminal ends. I got to throw a vacuum on that AC system, make sure it doesn't leak down. And then somewhere in this garage, I don't know where, but somewhere in this garage, I have. Come on, it can't be that high. Maybe it's in the trailer. I have some R134 refrigerant. Recharge the air conditioning because gotta have air conditioning. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I found it. I don't know how much is left in there. Oh yeah, I got enough. You know what? Why don't I just pull that out right now, and I can pull a vacuum while I'm repairing the battery terminal ends. Yeah. Yeah, that thing's heavy. Oh, Lord Sigurd. Oh my God. That thing weighs 100 pounds if it weighs an ounce. Now I need to find my AC stuff. There it is. Let me hook this stuff up, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, my vacuum pump's hooked up to my manifold gauges. This is the hose that you're going to pull the vacuum through. This is also the recharge hose. The refrigerant's going to come through this. It's your high side and your low side. Both of these are closed right now, meaning that vacuum and refrigerant can't flow through this right now. It's got a quick disconnect on it. If you open up the system to the air, you've contaminated your system with atmosphere, and that will wreck the rest of your AC system. So, you know, a couple $100 for a new compressor. If you don't pull a vacuum on it, you're not going to get the performance, and the life of your air conditioning system is going to be greatly shortened. That being said, I bought that huge, I think that's a medical vacuum. I think that's something you'd find in a hospital. But I bought that from a secondhand store for $125. You can buy really inexpensive vacuum pumps for this kind of application. I'll post a link in the description if you're in the market for one. And that manifold set, I bought that from Harbor Freight 20 plus years ago. I've recharged every vehicle that I've had with that manifold set. It's not the greatest, but it was cheap. And if you're in the market for a manifold set, check the links in the description. I'll tell you what, if you're a tool guy and money's no object and you want to buy the best possible tool, I'll put a professional grade manifold set in there along with a more budget minded option if you're in the market for a manifold set. Unless you're doing this professionally, there's no reason to spend a ton of money on a vacuum pump, but you want something that's going to draw down what's the maximum vacuum on here? 30 inches of mercury. You want something that's going to draw down at least 15 inches of mercury. Just spend a little bit more money and get a decent vacuum pump. You're going to need some refrigerant if you've replaced a part and you need to add oil to it. You're going to need that. All I did was replace a line. It's just probably going to be a sticker someplace on the Jeep. The information for the refrigerant's right here, and tells you how much refrigerant you're going to need. This is a 1 1/4 pounds, and what kind of compressor oil. This is SP20 PAG oil. Another good idea is to use dye in your system. That way, if you ever develop a leak, you can use an ultraviolet light to pinpoint where the leak's coming from. As far as safety equipment, gloves and some safety glasses. At the moment, I am not wearing either. First things first, hook up your manifold system. Red's high, blue's low. They can only go on one way. The high side's big, low side's little. Can't screw this up. Give it a little tug, make sure that it's set. And then what you want to do is hook up your vacuum pump and turn it on. Open these up, so screw them down. And then open up your manifolds. Gauge set. Yeah, I'm down to 30 inches of mercury. This one's pulled down to the pin. Okay, this part's important. Don't get in a hurry. Let this sit for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, you want to come back, shut these valves, turn them off. Right? Wait a half an hour, 45 minutes, and see if these gauges, if these numbers, if it leaks down. If there's a leak in the system, it'll zero out. Check to make sure that you're holding vacuum in the system. Like some say wait an hour. You'll know in 15 minutes whether or not you're leaking down. But if you got time, wait an hour. Optimally, you want to wait an hour. I'll probably wait a half an hour because I have the time, but I don't have a lot of patience. So I'll wait a half an hour, check them. If the gauges haven't moved, I'll continue the vacuum down process for another 45 minutes, at which point I'll turn the gauges off. Alright, just turned off the vacuum pump. And now we wait 15 minutes. If you got everything hooked up and you're trying to draw a vacuum and you just can't seem to hold a vacuum, and you've checked every fitting, you've replaced every O-ring, and you're certain that nothing on that AC system is leaking, you still can't maintain a vacuum, it's got to be your gauge set. The first place to look is one of these. Now inside that little hole there is an O-ring, and that's what seals this to the fitting under the hood. I don't know if you can see it in there, but there's a nitrile O-ring in there. I've replaced these once. After you've checked those O-rings to make sure those aren't leaking, that's probably going to be the culprit. Then the next thing to check is your hoses. Are they cracked? Are they loose? Because if this isn't, I mean, if you don't crank these things down, they might leak. Check those, and then if those all check out, then it's probably your gauge set, and I want to go through them. All the fittings are tight. There's O-rings inside of here, and you might want to pull those out, check those O-rings. I think I've replaced these too. Just a little maintenance goes a long ways. Or you could do what most people do and just throw it all away and buy new stuff. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You do whatever you want. But take it under advisement.
A few moments later.
Alright, 15 minutes ago to check to see if my work load has increased or not. Looks good to me. Turn the vacuum pump back on. Turn the gauges back on. Go eat my breakfast, lunch, and I'll come back in 45.
More moments later.
Alright, while we're waiting for this to wrap up, I got like 5 more minutes. Let me explain to you what I'm doing here. You see there I got a large bulk canister of refrigerant, and I'll be introducing that into the system as a liquid. So the can is inverted and I have a scale there. I'll zero that scale out, and then I'll measure how many ounces of material are removed from the can. So 1.25 pounds is 20 ounces. Right, 16 ounces in a pound, and a quarter pound is 4 ounces, so 16 and 4, 20. Math, right? So 20 ounces of refrigerant. When that scale goes to negative 20, I'll know that I have enough refrigerant. I bought that big can 8 or 9 years ago, and the EPA rules have changed now, and I don't think you can buy it in bulk like that. You have to be a licensed AC tech to be able to buy in bulk like that. Thanks, EPA. Thanks a bunch. So you're probably going to be relegated to buying the small cans, like the 12-ounce cans or 16-ounce cans or 20-ounce cans. And some of those cans come with a small hose with the AC adapter, so you can plug it right into your low side. And they even come with a gauge. And, you know, that's all marketing. You don't need that stuff. You just need to know how much to put in. So if you have a manifold set, if you don't have a manifold set, those are a pretty good deal. But if you do have a manifold set and you're relegated to buying those small 12-ounce cans, you're going to need a can tap. And this is what it looks like. So the handle on mine's missing. This gets screwed on the top of the can. This is where your hose gets, your recharge hose will attach to. That goes to your manifold set. And then you turn this handle down and you see the barb showing up there. That pierces the can. And when the barb's all the way down, no material is going to flow. When you back this out and open that up, then material is going to flow out of that. These are cheap. Less than $10, I would imagine. Check the link in the description. I'll put one there if you need one. And then when I use those individual 12-ounce cans, I just take and I roll the can back and forth as I'm recharging it. And that agitates the material and helps it flow, apparently. I've done that for years. I don't know why. Probably somebody told me and I just started doing it. Gives me something to do while it's recharging. That, not so much. You probably don't have to do anything like that. But let's see. That's good enough. So turn this off. Crank these down. Shut these valves off. Now, from now on, the high side is going to remain closed. You can leave that open, but close this. You leave that open, you'll be able to read what the gauges say, but you don't want to introduce refrigerant into the high side. Everything's going to happen through the low side. Take this off, move it over here to the refrigerant. Okay. On the front of your recharge hose is a Schrader valve. You want to purge the air out of this charge line. Purged. Which reminds me, you want to keep your bare hands away from that refrigerant because it boils at something like 120 degrees below zero. And you could give yourself frostbite. Where are they? And you want to wear some safety glasses, if I can find them. Because if this stuff gets on your eyeballs, you'll never see again. So, I've purged that. I'm not going to worry about gloves now. Let's see here. Tear that out. T-A-R-E, not T-E-A-R. Alright. So, max, fan on high, on cold. Crack open the valve. Filled it a little bit too much, but that's okay. Nice and cold coming out of there. This isn't the best way to do it. You get a refrigeration thermometer and stick it in the vent. It actually measures the temperature of the air coming out of there. I got to measure the temperature of a surface in there. Let's continue in the drop. 48, 49. 45. Darn cold. You can hang meat in here. So that's a success, I guess. So I'll wait and see what time the motor mounts show up. If they show up at a reasonable hour, I'll try to get them in yet tonight. If not, they'll go in after the junkyard troll tomorrow. I'm going for a big brake upgrade. Front brakes on this one. So that video is coming up. So stay tuned for that. So if you found this video to be informative and entertaining, smash that like button and share it with the vast social media network. Comment in the comment section if you find yourself compelled to do so. Check the links in the description to Amazon affiliate links, since I am one, to some of the tools and products that you see in these videos. A little bit of your purchase through those links helps the channel out quite a bit. But liking, sharing, and commenting, that don't cost nothing. Even I can afford to do that. If you haven't clicked the sub button, consider doing so. And if you do, click the little bell icon. That way you'll be notified of future uploads. So that's all I've got for today. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, have a splendid day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.